Hello dear friends. Today we continue our conversation about the victims of Raya and Sakina. Today's episode is the second part of the story of the first victim, Khadra bint Mohamed al-Lami. After the failure of the plan to steal Khadra al-Lami, although Khadra had been aware of the men's intention to steal her jewelry, she did not stop visiting the house of Haret al-Najat and did not raise any problems. She also did not take off the gold she was adorned with, and continued to frequent the house of Haret al-Najat, which made the men see the jewelry she was wearing. Because of this, the gang's planning shifted from stealing Mohamed al-Lami's vegetable jewelry to killing her and stealing her jewelry. With this, the gang began its historical project to kill women and steal their jewelry and money. The gang finished developing its plan to kill Khadra Mohamed al-Lami, and chose Raya's room in 38 Ali Bek al-Kabir Lane to carry out the crime, especially since luring Khadra to that room did not require much persuasion from her. In addition, her frequentation of that house did not arouse any suspicion or curiosity from the neighbors, as she used to visit the house to meet customers at times when the house was busy. What helped the gang to complete the process of killing Khadra Mohamed al-Lami safely was that she followed certain security measures when she entered the house of Ali Bek al-Kabir neighborhood, such as wrapping a sheet around her face to hide her identity, which made it difficult for anyone to identify her. In addition, the pitch darkness that enveloped the house day and night helped the gang complete the crime safely. Also, Raya's room was located in the southernmost corner of the house, and Raya's Nubian neighbors were leaving for work early in the morning and they only return late at night. All these reasons made the room of Raya in 38 Lane Ali Bek the Great the perfect place to carry out the crime. On Sunday, December 21, 1919, Khadra Mohamed al-Lami left her home on Abdul Muniam Street, where she was living with her youngest son, Shaban, a few weeks after her husband's death. She took £8 from Shaban, in addition to the remaining £9 from her late husband's dues. She also received £3 from her eldest son, Abdul Muttalib, as a contribution from him to the marriage expenses of his younger brother. Khadra Mohamed al-Lami was carrying £20 to buy her youngest son's wedding supplies, Shaban. Her eldest son's wife also gave her some ornaments to adorn herself with, such as necklaces and earrings, so that she could appear properly as the groom's mother in front of the bride's family and neighbors. Khadra Mohamed al-Lami then went out and arrived at the house of Haret al-Najat in the middle of the day. No one knows the hours before that. I worked in them. She may have gone to some shops in the market to buy some of her son's wedding supplies, and she may have left the money with the seller and told him that after the end of the day she could assault him and receive the goods she bought from him. No one knows exactly what happened during the 3 hours before she went to the house of the Lifeline at midday on Sunday, December 21, 1919. Khadra Mohamed al-Lami arrived at the house of Haret al-Najat at midday on Sunday, and it was very cold, and the general situation suggested that the day would be infected, without customers and without work, like the previous days. She preferred Khadra to wait until 3 o'clock in the afternoon and got bored because she did not find customers and was not at work. Khadra Mohamed al-Lami knitted her sheet and decided to leave, but Raya urged her to stay in the hope of any customer attending. Indeed, Raya's hope came true and the waiting customer came, and he was a young man from Upper Egypt. He pointed to Raya, who followed him to the Masha room on the ground floor, which was empty at the time of customers. It was the arrival of this customer that made Khadra Mohamed al-Lami wait, and the day ended with her death. Raya whispered to Khadra Mohamed al-Lami that she would only leave when she returned. At this time, it was agreed to carry out a plan to kill Khadra Mohamed al-Lami on this day. Raya was the author of the proposal and the one who determined the day to carry out the killing of Khadra, because she noticed that Khadra was adorned with additional jewelry, which was the throat and the pulp that she had borrowed from her eldest daughter-in-law. Raya was not sure or knew if it was possible for Khadra to wear these jewelry again, so she decided to carry out the operation. Today they don't lose the extra jewelry. Raya tried to gather the 4 men to carry out the killing, but at the time she may have left a message for Abdul Razak Youssef that he was following her at the time of his appearance. Raya returned again to the house of Haret al-Najat, and Khadra was preparing to leave after the customer left. But Raya urged her to stay and told her that another customer could come. Because Raya insisted that Khadra stay and not leave, she offered to stay overnight and that she would provide her with some customers. But Khadra Mohamed al-Lami insisted on leaving. This is where Khadra waited and eventually led to her death. Abd al-Razak Yusuf suddenly appeared at the door of the house and met Khadra as she was out at the entrance to the house and asked her where she was going. Abdul Razak strongly objected to Khadra Mohamed al-Lami's departure and asked her to prepare for an evening with him until morning. He told her that he had chosen her to spend the night with him at the Jawani Hotel in Ramal Square. Khadra Mohamed al-Lami was very happy with Abdul Razak's words, and she couldn't believe herself. The man who always mocked her and hurt her femininity chose her over other women to spend the night with him in the Jawani Hotel in Ramal Square, not in Sakina's dirty room or in the Masha room where she had just disagreed with the young man Sadie. It's in the Jawani Hotel in Ramal Square, the most famous hotel in Alexandria. The amazing thing here that surprised Suleiman Bey Ezzat, the chief prosecutor and the main investigator of the Raya and Sakina case, was how Khadra agreed to Abdul Razak's offer and rejoiced in it only 10 days after trying to steal it and extract her jewelry by force. And how, after all, accept his offer and rejoice in it easily and simply. This behavior is one of the mysteries of the human soul, as it seems that Khadra has forgotten, or deliberately forgotten what Abdul Razak did with her previously. She may have told herself that this time Abdul Razak intends to spend on her as befits a man in love with a woman. The fact that Khadra Mohamed Lami accepted Abdul Razak's invitation so simple and easy after everything he did about her is a mystery with no clear explanation. Khadra Mohamed al-Lami's acceptance of Abdul Razak's invitation to spend the night with him at the Jawani Hotel raised eyebrows and curiosity with Suleiman Bey Ezzat, the chief prosecutor and chief investigator of Raya and Sakina's case. He asked Raya about her explanation for Khadra accepting Abdul Razak's invitation easily, and Raya replied, "A woman is one of these, whatever she is, because 1 by 10 goes to any party." On top of that, Abdul Razak uld highly and Ibn Suk. Importantly, Abdul Razak came out of the house of Haret al-Najat, and Khadra Mohamed al-Lami followed him as she hid her face in a sheet. But Abdul Razak whispered in her ear that he would precede her to Raya's house in Ali Bey's big room. Circumstances did not allow Khadra to ask him why he had changed the destination from the Jawani Hotel to 38 Ali Bey Grand Lane, so she walked with him without words. Khadra arrived at Ali Bey Al-Kabir neighborhood and stood on the road facing the lane, and took a look at the whole lane, which at that time was completely empty of any pedestrians or people. Even the old man Auf and his wife, who were selling sweets to children and were always in their usual place in front of Raya's room, were not there at that time. Khadra realized that she did